Okay, here we go. Yeah. Sorry guys, got on a little bit late today because I was yapping about the what's that someone what's that I was asked about like oh yeah, what kind of stuff do they give you in the military, since someone that I know is going pretty soon. And then as they were telling me like, oh yeah, these are the kind of things they're asking me to get, I'm like, wait a minute, is the military becoming more cheap now and they're not just giving you those things? So yeah, to me it was a shock. Like they're like kind of like, hey, get these or like no, certain like things. Well, also buy like a sleeping bag for then if you have that, you don't have to like, even if you fail your like inspection to like fold your bed, you could use that. I'm like, what the fuck? So yeah, to me that was shocking. I think it's gonna be just like, and then they also wanted to buy black boots to shine, but I was like, that's not the regulation anymore. It's the brown ones. The reason why I know that is because everyone like once you buy enough like snow boots, like sometimes you buy like your, especially the shiny ones, right? So I used to have like a pair of shiny ones that I like shined immensely to have it prepared for if I ever had a inspection, I could just wear that, right? And the other ones is not as shiny, but like, I use that one for my everyday ones. And then later on we had to like change to the brown ones. I'm like, oh fuck, I just wasted money on this shit. So I mean, for my officers don't get a clothing allowance unless the people do. Oh, what the hell was? Okay, that was strange. So with that, right, like you have to like kind of, and you're gonna like if you're a person who's not gross, or either that you're a person who's like no, if you keep your uniform very clean, depending on what job you have, right, I guess you could keep your uniform pretty clean, not ripped. If you do anything where you have to do maintenance a lot, be outside, do like roving watch and all this other annoying things, it is going to get dirty and it's going to get ripped, right? And so then like you're going to have to spend like, okay, oh man, or like I think I was even told like, oh, your clothes look a little bit of a little faded, right? I was like, bitch, at least you know that I wash my clothes. Look at these fuckers. They're like, oh, look at his crisp uniform. Smell him. And they're like, go smell him then. And they refused because they knew that person stunk to high heaven because they didn't wash their clothes. There's many people that are like, oh, how often do you wash your clothes? I'm like, no, it's like, okay, no, like how often? And they were kind of like mumbling the answer is about a month. They go a month without washing their clothes. I'm like, oh, cool. And I made a blacklist to make sure like I don't want to hot wreck anywhere near these nasty ass people. I had some kind of fucking dandruff and like whatever nasty ass shit on them. Hot wrecking sucks. Hot wrecking is, I think I explained to Milk before, is when you have, was it two beds and you just share two beds between three people because technically one person's always on watch if you're underway. So three people with two beds, and if you just within those two, like if you have that one nasty guy, or unfortunately some people they're like a clean person that's hot wrecking with two nasty people, it's hell. I've seen people, well, I forgot what we called it, but like I did see some people get smacked up because they were doing chewing tobacco, and some of the stuff got like, they dropped it on the bed. So when the guy went to sleep right after taking a shower and all that stuff, went to sleep, he's like, what the fuck is this on me? He freaked out because he thought it was like bugs or something. Then when he woke up, he turned the light on, which you're not really supposed to do in birthing, but he did. And he looked at it and said, what the fuck is this? And then, ooh, he went up there, right? And then he went to go yell at the person that was on watch. Then later on, he's like, okay, when the guy's asleep, he went down there and beat the living fuck out of him. And I was like, I think at one point, like I must have been around to see it, because I think he's looking at me like, I ain't gonna say shit. I think you were justified to smack the shot of him. He said, "Don't be gross." And he's like, "Oh, thanks, man." I mean, I didn't do anything to be thanked, but you know, if you're a gross ass person that would do something like that, where you like leave nasty shit in someone's bed, yeah, fuck it, get your ass beat. Don't be a gross person. Or the worst one is like when someone like those eat like the sleep eaters, where they like eat snacks in the bed and they just have all those crumbs in there. Ugh. We're underweight, so we usually don't get ants, but that's how you get ants. Oh man, I just remembering that. Oh, I was not a fan. You know what? I'd probably go for it. Yeah. Yeah, but apparently, you have to buy a sleeping bag, buy your own kind of shoes, which I understand the tennis shoe one or the running shoes, because you don't want to have something that like fuck up your feet. But not the own boots and stuff. I'm like, oh, that's kind of sucks. And yeah, it's just like a lot of little things change. And some people are like, some of the old heads are like, oh yeah, they're making us softer. I'm like, bitch, like get the hell out of here. Like, compared to like our parents and our parents' parents, boot camp has gotten a lot easier, rightfully so. Because during like my dad's time, he's like, oh yeah, I didn't really finish all like the official boot camp, but I didn't get to do all the stuff because too many people were dying. I'm like, what? Yeah. He's like, oh, you guys got to do that? That's so cool. I'm like, Dad, you did it too. Or no, too many people died during my time, so they just had to just not do a lot of boot camp. We just did just like the normal like training stuff. And even during my time, where it was a lot easier, quite a few people died. A lot of it is like they were just so exhausted they just passed out, or people who locked their knees during like now I want to call it formation. Was it formation? Was that what we? Either way, they locked their knees. They which is cutting off the circulation of blood to your head, and they pass out. And because in boot camp you're so like, or in the middle of being brainwashed, when people are about to fall out, they're like, "Oh, I can't catch him, or else I'll get in trouble," and the person just hits cement. I was like, "There's no fucking way." I don't care if they fucking yell at me. If someone's passing out, I'll try to catch him at least if I could react in time. I never cared that much. I was never a super by the book military person. There's many times in boot camp I got lost, even though you're supposed to be like, no, marching this other kind of way. I got fucking lost as hell, and they couldn't find me for a little while because I was lost. They were lost. Yeah, I was very much like, I guess people like me, like, not made for the military in that sense. Like, I'm like, I don't. I'm gonna say bad at following orders. I just gotta do my own thing, but I do get things done. So like, if you need something done, like I'm good for that. But if it's like, oh yeah, I want you to look cool as you do military stuff, nah, that ain't me. You have to get someone else. Or the fact that like they took me off of the marching thing because they're like, oh yeah, you suck at marching. And then right when we had to go and do the evaluation to see if you could march correctly, then they called me in, right? It's like, you need to do this march. I'm like, I haven't marched for like the past like, I don't know however long we've been practicing. It's like, oh, you'll do fine. I'm like, what? So then I had to march in this whatever thing, and that was cool, I guess. Yeah, I was never like, like the worst part is like if they put someone very short in front of you in the march, so like they're taking baby steps and your legs are way longer than them, so you have to take baby steps, and they're just like, it's so bad to kind of match the rhythm of that. And this one person says, oh yeah, if the person in front of you is marching in a way you don't like, just kick him in the back of the feet. Don't ever do that. In military marching, don't ever do that. Because this guy was kicking the back of my feet. I'm like, dude, if you do that again, I'm breaking your toes. I'm like, what in the hell? Yeah, we had to do a lot of marching. I was just never a fan of it. But nowadays, I think they're trying to make training commands do more marching, which I'm like, oh, that sucks. Training commands is when you get like deep brainwashed. So then you kind of act more normal because most people don't like that when, like, let's say I'm in a command. This guy came from boot camp and he starts doing crazy boot camp shit. And I'm like, bro, be normal, man. Like, it's cool. Like, don't worry about that. Like, it's a weird thing, like, because when you're in boot camp, to help facilitate the brainwashing, uh, they first they make sure like you have 24 hours of not sleeping, so to kind of get you on their sleep schedule because you're going to be jet lagged when you get there. So they do that, and when your mind is going in and out of like consciousness, right? They ask you like, "Oh yeah, if you tell me if you ever did anything bad in your life, like if you ever smoked weed and anything," and then people are so like messed up that they'll just start telling stuff that they should know. It's like, hey, don't say stupid shit. They'll start telling on themselves. Oh yeah, that's why I need to go. The other person's going on the milk. I need to tell them that part. Yeah, people told on themselves, and they walk around and look at people, and afterwards, like I had friends who went and became drill instructors, and they like tell me like, "Bro, you wouldn't imagine how many people just tell on themselves." I'm like, I could kind of imagine, but it's like now I get it. Like when they were doing it to me when I was in boot camp, they didn't know what the hell they were doing. They're just like, I hope they tell on themselves. So yeah, now that I had like no inside knowledge of like what some of the people were thinking. I forgot the reason why my dad didn't become a drill instructor because there's one point that he was like they wanted him as a drill instructor and he was like getting ready for it and he's like okay now since I mean he was always like super fit and so he was getting ready for it but then I think he told me some kind of reason like oh I don't really want to do this like drill instructor thing and he kind of told me his reasoning. I'm like technically I think he'll be good at it, right? But at the same time yeah like I get why he didn't want to. I think he's like, oh, it's kind of lame. It's like, I'm not sure if I'm like, could just like, no, I could fake it that well. I'm like, oh, you're pretty good at faking, like you're mad at people. I'm like, he's the type of person that could yell at someone, then have a nice conversation with them a second afterwards. So then it's very jarring to the person who just got yelled at. It's like, I thought you hate me. He's like, no, I'm good. Even as a kid, like if he gets like, no, he'll do the fake, like he never like actually got mad at me, but he like do the fake yell. And a second later, he's okay. Hey, you want to go get some ice cream? I'm like, oh, what? But yeah, I think that's just like that was ingrained into him from the military. I'm like, oh, I don't yell at people for like that kind of reason. Like, and for me, I had like usually before I yell at someone when I was in the military, I had to like stop myself and like, okay, remember, like depending on the person's age, right? If the person's older than me, then yeah, I will fucking go all on to town on them. I'm like, how the fuck are you this old and doing all this kind of stuff, right? But if the person's younger, I'm like, I have to remember back when I was the same age, would I have done something just as stupid or stupider? I'm like, yeah. So like sometimes I'll be mad, then I'll calm down a bit. I'm like, you know what? It's not worth it. Then I'll just talk to them. And that apparently me just not yelling at them and just talking to them is more devastating. Like I was like, okay, I'm not gonna yell at this guy. Like, like he's young. He's young, dumb. We've all been there. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna just talk to the guy, man to man, be nice. Tell him like, hey, this is if you want to have a career, this is what you do. If you want to get out, this is what you do. Like depending on you, right? I'll give you options. And then he started bawling. I'm like, oh, like, I did not expect that. Yeah, generally, if you could like kind of like look from an outside perspective and see like, okay, out from the outside looking in, how does this look? What if you were in the same person's shoes, right? Which you need empathy to do. Like, how would you want to have someone talk to you or to correct you and all that, right? If you do it that way, I think you could have instead of just straight yelling at the person, unless they're doing something very dangerous, all right, you could able like to empathize more and give them better guidance. That's like something they teach you in leadership, like how to be a leader and how not to be a dickhead. Which is actually the thing there is a book that especially like once you're a chief level, they teach you that stuff. No, actually, petty officer. They teach you a little bit in petty officer when you get right when you become a petty officer, which is your E4. Then E6 is again when they teach you like, okay, you're about to be like a chief. Here's how to lead people and not be crazy. I actually technically never took the E4 or whatever petty officer training course thing. They're like, yeah, you kind of know what you're doing. Like, even during like some of my other like high profile kind of things that I had to do, they're supposed to debrief me on things and all that, but they're like, no, you kind of know what you're doing. I'm like, you trust me too much. And like, no, you have a lot of common sense. And apparently they call me the common sense guy. It's like, yeah, you just kind of know how to do things. And they're saying like, oh yeah, for you, it doesn't matter what rank someone is. If something's wrong, it's wrong, and you'll go after them. I'm like, that's true as a human. Like, I don't care about your fucking rank. If it's dangerous, I ain't doing it. Or like, was it like international? Like I had to stop a few international incidents. It's like public relation kind of stuff. I'm like, come on, like you guys were in the military. You guys interacted with people from many different countries. How the fuck don't you know this? A lot of people don't. There's a lot of people who like they lived in a small town. They never left it. So they don't know the dynamics of like other countries, how they interact with each other, what is the culture of it, all that kind of stuff. Like I went to a DOD school, DOD school, whichever one you would say. So like I had many friends from like all parts of the world, learned different like customs and whatnot. And so like I have at least compared to like maybe some others, I have like a pretty broad like view of different cultures. So like I kind of know how to like not do crazy shit in other countries. Right? It's supposed to blend in. That's the thing they're supposed to teach you, I guess. They do. I mean, there's a course you got to take, kinda, every year, and then, like how to blend in with your whatever country you're in, so you don't make yourself a target. Like they have that training like every year. Like you have to take like a little with your CD. Or not, now it's a website. Before it used to be a CD they would give you. I think I even took that. They made us take that back when I was even in high school. Well, that was weird. Yeah, because they had like a special like not laptops like it's a like, old shitty computer with a floppy disk they will give you. I was like, people fucking still. I mean, our stuff is so old. They do still give you floppy disks. I was like, who am I kidding? Like, yeah, they still give us navigate. Oh wow. You know what? I forgot to go to the whole other little flying place with the whole fairy tale thing. I was like, you know what? It feels weird. Like, it feels like I'm missing something. I think that's what it was. Yeah, this all went on a tangent just because, what the hell? Yeah, cool. There. Just because someone asked me about the military, then kind of went on a tangent. It's almost like when someone asks Burrito about JJK, it would be the same thing. Same kind of things would happen. Or, I guess, Waffles and World of Warcraft. He's a lore head, so he knows more about the lore in that one. I know like the broad strokes of Final Fantasy 14. And if you ask me, do I know like a lot of lore about this game? First part, like season 1, I skipped a lot of that story. I watched some of the cutscenes, so I kind of know about like the characters and stuff. But honestly, season 2 and 3 right now is a lot about the dream stuff. The dream bloom, yeah, that's the word. And to me, that is a boring. So glad I already went here. Oh yeah. I can say this part. But this also was a little fun, a funny story. At one point, when I was in the military, there was someone that was so big. I was on a submarine, so fast attack, small one. There's a person that was like, his wife was so big, she couldn't even fit through the submarine hatch. And I was like, I remember when I was really new back then. I was like, wait a minute, aren't torpedoes? We put torpedoes through this thing, right? It's big enough for a torpedo to go through, right? And they're like, don't say that out loud. I'm like, oh no, this lady's bigger than a torpedo. Yeah. And then I was like, no, we could just like kind of stomp on her and it's kind of like push her through. And I was like, if we do that, right, how the hell are we gonna get her out of here? I'm like, oh. And I guess either she would have, was it Ozempic her, or she'll be the Jabba the Hutt that lives on that command forever. Yeah, but I've seen some big people, but I never saw someone that big in real life. That person was huge. I think the person's, maybe their legs got through to the inside of the hatch, but nothing else could get through. I was telling people, like, if you just have like a big ass heavy backpack, a barlet sack or whatever, and you could easily go through that hatch. Easy. I know that's because a lot of the hatch and stuff, the people who, like, I'm one of the people who had to, like, no, keep it clean and all that kind of stuff. I was like, this is fucking stupid. I get why, but at the same time, like, sometimes we're really cleaning it, I'm like, oh my god, this is so fucking dumb. There has to be a faster way to do this. Or a better way. I guess that's how innovations are made, because a lot of people are like that, right? They see something, it's like, this is so dumb. And that's how, was it, people make new things and like, oh wow, that's over there. Okay, never mind. Man, there's a lot of things like that. Yeah, if anyone who's going to boot camp or just recently got out, you can just like, put in the comments below, like how, kind of the things things that I'm pretty sure when you're in there, they'll tell you like, oh no, things used to be harder and how much it changed. If you write that in the comments, then I'll comment back and be like, yeah, it's about the same. Or like, oh man, like, I'm glad it got easier. So, yeah, because I'm a proponent of like, yeah, make it easier for people. I'm not any, like, some people are like, no, if I went through some hard stuff, right, it needs to be hard for everyone else. I'm not that. If life is easier for the next generation, great. Like, why do you have to suffer along with me? Like, if you never had to deal with any of the bullshit I went through, then that's awesome. I'm a big proponent of that. I think that kind of mentality is also the same thing where there's some parents or whatever like, oh yeah, as a child, my parents beat me, that's why I'm gonna beat you. That's pretty stupid. Like, are you happy with life and all that? Like, I mean, maybe they are, I guess. Like, I just personally wouldn't do that. I'm like, sometimes I know, like, or when parents used to lie, oh, I'm not beating you because I'm mad at you. You are. You generally are. Like, would I do it? Like, before I was a proponent of, yeah, beat that kid's ass, right? I'm at the same time, I'm not with the whole, like, timeout. I think that's pretty stupid, too. I'm like, just explain to the kid, and if the kid doesn't, then yeah, like, you don't need to go and be crazy and beat them or something, but, you know, maybe smack their hand or something, you know, something benign, but you never know. Like, kids are like, it's always the gotcha of like raising kids. You never know if you'd have a psychopath. You smacking their head as a hand as a child is the reason why, like, oh, that's the reason why I eat people's faces now. You're like, fuck, didn't see that one coming. So yeah, that's why, like, I'm like, when people who, like, I think everyone here has either their own kids or like who met people with kids, and sometimes you see like a person and their parenting style you think is like, ooh, I could do a better job than that. But then later on, like, because you're like, you know, kids are stressful, right? Like, it makes you think, maybe I can't. Maybe I'll be worse. Or like some people like were like, oh yeah, no, I think I did good. Then as their kids get older, like, no, you didn't. I think that's pretty funny. Or like a parent who thinks, oh yeah, I was a great parent. You ask the kids, no, you weren't. They're like, oh snap. I've seen it real time where people were sitting down, was like, no, this old dude with his like kids, they're grown kids. And he's like a grandfather now, and he was like bragging about like, oh, how great of a parent he was. And his kid, like, you could just tell the son was just staring at him, looking him up and down. He's like, the fuck are you on about? I think he said it, you know, he's like, no, I was a good parent. I raised you, right? The person, no, you were a shitty parent. I'm like, oh. And just like the shock in the father's face, like, huh? And then the mother looked away, so I'm like, oh, even the mom knew. But yeah, then I had to kind of like, I wanted to stay to hear more, but I had to like go and do my other job. But it was funny. To me, it was funny. Right? To that person, it was not. It was, he let it out, like all the stuff that he felt that his father wronged him with. Okay, I was like, I know this area. And they keep spawned in late. Yeah, this will say parenting is a gotcha. You never know what's gonna happen. Like, are you gonna raise a serial killer? Are you gonna raise like an outstanding citizen? Just a normal person who's like, no, mediocre. I'm like, I mean, that's what I wish for. I'm like, oh, if you raise a kid, the kid's kind of just mediocre. You're like, oh, at least he's not a serial killer. Oof. And some people are like mad, like, oh, my kid's mediocre. I'm like, you could have had a serial killer. You gotta look at the bright side. So yeah, guys, don't be serial killers and don't raise serial killers. Please don't. That's today's PSA. And if you think you're bad at raising kids, just get a dog or something. Actually, no, if you're bad at raising kids that bad, then you might be bad to animals. Just get like a Neopet or something. Whatever you do, don't be one of those weirdos like, oh, I want to get a bunch of chickens and raise it as a pet. Don't be weird. Chickens aren't pets. That's weird. I honestly think getting a pig as a pet is weird, but to me, it's a little bit less weird than a chicken. Just want to put that out there. I'm not for all you farm guys out there. You know, you might be like, oh, he's wrong. No, you know I'm right. Chickens as pets are weird. Let's get a normal pet. Now, where's that? Get something cool. A cool pet. Let me see. I mean, personally, me, if I retired, all that kind of stuff, I want to get like a wolf hybrid dog. That'd be kind of cool. All right, but the things they need a lot of care and a lot of attention because they're kind of like a pack animal. So if they go on long trips, the dog would freak the hell out, and you have to have a fence that's very high because they could jump that shit. So yeah, just get normal pets, everyone. Okay, there. And with that, looks like, oh, I should probably do this. There we go. And with that, we'll call it a day. If you like this kind of stuff, liked our weird talks, I told you once I go on like talks about like what's the past Navy or military stuff, I go on tangents. So yeah, if you want to write anything about that in the comments below, definitely do that. But at the same time, same token, don't forget to like and subscribe, especially on the YouTube side. That one needs lots of love, in a not weird way. So with that, guys, I hope you guys have a good one. We'll see you tomorrow. Hopefully, I will attempt to get on earlier. You take care, guys.